Hi there again. Well, I don't normally do back-to-back blogs like this because I don't generally have that much to say. And I've always said that I wouldn't spam this, despite being long-winded sometimes, because I don't want this to be like a YouTuber content creation nightmare for myself or for you. However, I didn't finish what I was talking about the other day, and I said we would talk about some of the weird things going on with Tesla's reputation and kind of by proxy Elon. I probably should say that the other way around. Let me just preface this by saying that we just, my wife and I recently started watching The Bear. And it's a TV show, in case you don't know. It involves restaurants and chefs and things like that. And I don't want to give any spoilers away because we typically won't watch, I won't say typically, but we often won't watch a TV series until it's gone completely off the air. That way we're not waiting for like the next season to drop and trying to make sure that we're still subscribed to whatever streamer has that series or all that. So if you wait till the series is completely finished, they're all available and they're there just to go straight through them, which is great. Anyway, we started watching The Bear, and it's a fabulous show. It's got a very odd feel to it, but I like it. It reminds me in some ways of the chaos that was evident in the very early episodes of ER. Those of you who remember ER back in its heyday. Anyway, one of the characters, and I don't want to give anything away, but there's a character who embarks on a business venture, and his financial backer says, hey, that's great, we're going to make this thing work, we're going to do all that stuff, but it's going to have to consume you. And then it's pointed out that this particular character says, well, I just recently started seeing this girl and or woman, however, I don't remember how it's put in the show, and to which the financial backer of the business basically goes, uh-oh. And that sets up one of the conflicts that's takes place in the season that we're in. I say that because I believe that Elon is the kind of person who has trouble maintaining friendships. We know he has trouble maintaining relationships. His track record with marriages and girlfriends and children and things like that suggests that he has a real hard time keeping the people closest to him close to him. And his own child is that's a hard situation. And there's a lot that goes on there that I don't want to get into. Because I'm sure it's painful on both sides. At least I'd like to think it's painful on both sides, although I do sometimes wonder how in touch with his emotions, human emotions, Elon is. But I also believe that is indicative that if you have trouble with your family at that level and your relationships, like your core relationships like he does, probably it's hard to maintain friendships as well. And all of that can be great, going back to the example of The Bear, because you don't have the distractions of having to keep other people happy and balance their needs with your needs and your business needs and things like that. And I think in the early days of Tesla, there was sort of this feeling that, he's sleeping on the assembly line and he's doing everything he can to make sure that these are the best cars on the road, and he's totally focused on that and pushing that mission forward. And I think he probably remains that much time invested in doing non-personal activities, except that he sees continuing his vitality on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. It's stupid to call it X, but whatever. On Twitter, as being something he needs to do for business purposes as well as for his own personal outlet. And that includes, apparently, it came out last night, that he has plans of modifying the blocking feature on Twitter so that, because I think a lot of people have blocked Elon because he's gone a little bit hard political, he's going to change the feature so that blocking is not as effective as it used to be. And it also means that people can tag you and comment on you who have blocked you. And I don't really know what the thinking there is, but I feel like it's a part of a campaign he has to amplify his own voice on his own platform. I think he's frustrated. I've also noticed that I get these suggested posts periodically, way more often than I would like, that come up as notifications as if it was somebody commenting on a post that I made. But it's not. It's just a random post from Elon. So like, it must be great to be able to just like hit a button and make everybody that uses your thing see your post. Because I don't follow Elon anymore because it's just too much. It's too much posting. And to that I say, it's a lot of posts. Go through his timeline and pick any 48-hour period you want and add up how frequently he's posting. It is a lot. If I was a manager at a company and saw that I had a supposedly very critical employee to my operation posting that frequently to social media, never mind the replies, that would be probably pretty quickly cause for termination. And to that I say that it's also the things that he is posting. They tend to be, lately, a lot of conspiracy things, a lot of just kind of wacky right-wing talking points. And I don't really feel that any of that furthers Tesla's business. I don't see any way that furthers Tesla's business at all. And it's very different than the kind of focus that he used to have, which was on expanding the business. Now I feel like he's doing an awful lot of things to contract the business. And I get that there's a lot of other employees at Tesla that are unrelated to any of what Elon says, and people want to support that company. But at the end of the day, it's a company. And if we believe in the free market system of like the best product, the best mousetrap wins, well, if your CEO is so directly linked to your product, you have to expect that there's going to be pushback when that CEO becomes polarizing. And that is where the board of directors is supposed to act in the interest of shareholders. And they have thus far decided that having this divisive CEO is still a benefit to the company as a whole, except that the board's not really independent, as we know. The board's very much a lot of friends and family of Elon. But that's how it's supposed to work, because they're supposed to speak for the shareholders and tamp down a CEO that's gone too far afield, or replace them if necessary. And the board's never going to do that. Never mind the whole, Elon Pay fiasco from last summer. I mean, I was not a fan of that pay package in the first place. I was even less of a fan of it, given some of the circumstances that came out as to how it was determined and stuff like that. But whatever. The majority of people apparently voted for it, and what have we gotten for bang for buck thus far? I don't know. Maybe we'll see when the whole robo-taxi thing comes out next month. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not super optimistic that that's really going to be a thing, and it's certainly not what I was interested in when I first started getting into the company as a whole a decade ago when I bought this car. So there's all kinds of gaslighting that the fanboys want to do about, well, yeah, but the CEO is not the same as the car company. But I mean, you can't unlink Elon and Tesla. They're just too directly tied, and that it just is what it is. And the other employees get dragged along kind of against their will into the fray. And I think the sales are falling partly because of that. There's a lot of dumb design decisions that they've made, but I think you can't ignore the politicization of Tesla's reputation via Elon. For example, tell me the name without looking it up of the CEO of their biggest competitors right now, which is arguably Kia and Hyundai. Yeah, you can't think of it, I bet. I'm not sure who it is. And the competition is getting better. Some of these new cars are, they're pretty close. GM just got access to the supercharger network last week. Now, CBS Sunday Morning did a lovely puff piece. And I love CBS Sunday Morning, don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the greatest news, entertainment, arts programs on TV. But it was a puff piece they did on their CEO, Mary Barra. And, again, you may have heard of Mary Barra's name. She's been in that position for 30 some odd years, I think. But it's hard to guess what her politics are, because she's kind of played it pretty close down the middle and not disrupted her company's reputation by aligning too closely to a politician, which is how you're supposed to do it. But they did a nice puff piece on them, And I think that their batteries are too expensive. They're not energy dense enough, so you end up with giant batteries and very heavy vehicles that are very expensive as a result. But for regardless, they're committed to making more compelling EVs and taking over more market share. And I think that they probably have quite a few resources to do it. And now they have access to the superchargers. The reason to buy a Tesla over other cars is becoming less and less, because the other cars are getting better, whether you like it or not. They're getting better. The Hyundai Ioniq 5, I think, has been doing quite well. I don't know that I would get a 5N over a Model 3 Performance, but then again, it's hard to say, because you never really know what's going to happen with Tesla pricing. They might just collapse the price like the next week, and then you're not only looking at depreciation, but you're looking at devaluation. And it's that kind of stuff that makes it hard for Tesla to compete as other brands get better. And then there's the baggage with Elon. I don't know. I don't really have a conclusion here. I'm just saying these are the things on my mind. Well, thanks for watching.